I am Lucy Laux, a current member of the Osceola chapter of the National Honor Society, and I will be your MC for tonight's ceremony. Members of the National Honor Society, inductees, and members of the Faculty Council will now be introduced and will be entering in the rear of the room. First is Principal Scott Currier with Chapter Advisor, Mrs. Katie Parent. Second is Mrs. Karen Currier with inductee Daria Etchings. Next is Ms. Heather Krill with inductee Samantha Tower. Mrs. Jennifer Witcher is with current member William Lyons. And the remaining faculty council members, Mr. Richard Baker. Mr. David Webster could not be here with us tonight. Good evening. Tonight we will be inducting our newest members, Daria Etchings and Samantha Tower. These students have demonstrated a clear understanding of the 5 qualities that are held in the high esteem by the National Honor Society: knowledge, leadership, scholarship, service, and character. These are truly outstanding in these qualities. That is why they are being inducted into the National Honor Society tonight. Now, if you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce Mrs. Currier, who will say a few words about Daria Etchings.
Tonight I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming all of you into the National Honor Society, a group built of high standards of achievement, not only in the area of academics and community service, but also importantly in character and leadership. On behalf of David Webster, who belatedly discovered he could not be here tonight, I will read what he had prepared. I also want to convey his thoughts as well as some of my own to honor Daria and her success. Mr. Webster recalls meeting Daria the first day of her freshman year. He encountered a fantastic, willing-to-learn young lady, whose name he accidentally, I'm assuming, slightly mispronounced. Daria took it in stride and has since become an integral part of the science department as his lab tech. Mr. Webster states, I am honored to have such a wonderful student as Daria in my classes. Her strength, aspirations, and enthusiasm benefit not only her in school, but also is a great role model for her peers. Mr. Webster, using the pillars of NHS, describes this fine young lady, Daria. Leadership. Leaders take the initiative to aid others in a wholesome manner throughout their daily activities. Leaders sacrifice their personal interests in order to yield to the needs of others. Leadership comes in many different shapes and forms and is learned through experience and responsibility. Leadership allows individuals to have independence and to grow into well-rounded people and role models. Daria spends much of her time volunteering and or participating in several school and community organizations, clubs, and sports teams. She has been a class officer, student council member, member of FBLA, and a participant in Lin-Wood's youth and government group. Scholarship. Scholarship is characterized by a commitment to learning, personified by a student willing to spend the necessary time to cultivate his or her mind in the quest for knowledge. Daria balances her academics, athletics, and personal life commendably. I want to congratulate her for demonstrating this integral trait of scholarship, especially with the additional responsibilities of preparing and proctoring science labs and lab activities. Service. A hallmark of service to others is the willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without compensation or recognition of any kind. In all that she does, Daria does not strive for recognition. She focuses on the real and true values and contributions she can make. And character. Character is what distinguishes one individual from another. It is the product of constant striving to make the right choices day after day. Students with good character demonstrate respect, responsibility, trustworthiness, fairness, caring, and citizenship in all of their actions. On top of academics and volunteering, Daria is also intensely involved in high school sports, such as softball and soccer. She's indisputably the type of student who has the promise of great success. Her natural abilities, combined with her work ethic and ability to evolve academically and socially, are a recipe for this success in the years to come. Mr. Webster concludes, Daria, a student who demonstrates the qualities of excellence, will be a benefit to our society. This is why she is worthy of being a National Honor Society member. She has not only impacted the Lin-Wood School District and our community, but also the global community. This leads me to what I believe is the most important criteria for NHS. She has shown that she has the ability to set part of her life aside to provide significant and ongoing service to her community by locally volunteering over 200 hours since her freshman year, and by volunteering globally through programs such as Interact. And now I would like to share my experience with Daria and why I feel she qualifies for NHS status. I too first met Daria when she was a freshman. She was in my world history class. Quiet and extremely mature, even as a 9th grader, Daria stood out to me. She was very articulate, refreshingly genuine, and had an appealing quiet confidence and a clear sense of her purpose. Scholarship. This year, now a senior, Daria is in my world geography class, where she is a positive role model for her peers. She is always on task, always has a steady can-do attitude, and is an excellent communicator. And as she did throughout her freshman year in my world history class, she's maintained a high A average all year. Leadership. I remember back to the days of world history when we had our Socratic dialogues that we call fishbowls on important and often controversial historical events and or people. Daria was a clear leader in her ability to lead a conversation by way of positive citizenship. Doing so was not easy given the dynamics of a class of young teenagers. Not only did she make well thought out points, but she also drew in other students into the conversation and listened intently and respectfully, keeping her mind open to other possible perspectives beyond her own. As mentioned by Mr. Webster, somehow, in addition to her time spent on academics, Daria has also found time to hold several offices, including vice president of her class in the 11th grade, historian of her class, both her junior and senior years, historian and president of the Lin-Wood FBLA, and vice president of student council all 4 years of high school. Daria is involved in many extracurricular clubs and organizations and is also an athlete, as Mr. Webster had mentioned. Some highlights that dovetail with her goal of becoming an environmental engineer, as well as with her mission to continue reaching out to others with compassion and service, are youth leadership through Adventure, YALTA, Astronomy Club, Gay Straight Alliance, Project DJ, and Youth in Government. Evidence of leadership reveals itself in many ways. Daria makes it a point to be a voice for underclassmen, having discovered how lonely it can feel to be an underclassman who hadn't grown up in the same community as the student she was now going to school with, or for some reason just didn't seem to fit in. To borrow a statement from Mr. Webster with regard to the NHS pillar of character, it is the product of constant striving to make the right choices day after day. But to that end, I would add, making the right choices requires reflection, and Daria has demonstrated to me that she is reflective. She learns from her past mistakes, and she uses what she learns to push herself out of her comfort zone. She broadens her social life to create more meaning in her life. She understands the need to be connected with others and to diversify and enrich her life with not only academics and family, but also with work, sport, civic service, and social relationships and activities. Service. Daria has traversed the community landscape, devoting countless hours to providing hands-on support to local programs and the people and physical environments those programs serve. She cares deeply about the people and about the planet, and she aims to make a difference. Daria's service to others, high academic scholarship, unwavering leadership, and principled character make her a young lady who we can confidently trust to face and push through challenges. She's a modest, level-headed, creative, and talented young lady, and I'm happy to welcome her into the National Honor Society.
Thank you, Mrs. Courier. Now, I would like to introduce Mrs. Krill, who will say a few words about Samantha Tower.
Good smile you have there tonight, Sam. Good evening, family and friends of Sam and Daria, as well as Lin-Wood faculty members. It is an honor to speak here this evening on behalf of Miss Samantha Tower, a student in my English class for 3 years running. I would take her for a fourth, but that's not possible. Although she meets all of the requirements of being inducted into the National Honor Society, including character, leadership, scholarship, and service, as a human being, she is so much more than the sum of these parts. What is impressive about Sam's resume of life skills and activities is her genuine spirit of participation. She doesn't volunteer countless hours in her community because it looks good on her resume, and it does. Rather, she gives of those service hours knowing in her heart how they truly make a difference in the life of others. She helps out because there is a need. She offers solutions when there are problems. She handles conflict resolution among her classmates with maturity, as if knowing intuitively that these are not the stresses in life worth too much aggravation or effort. Deal with it and move beyond. For example, just this week I was witness to the junior class team building event held in my classroom, being facilitated by Maddie and Colin. This was to help students prepare for a speaker they would have later on in the day. There were some who participated positively, some quietly. There were still others who sought to avoid participation at all cost. Sam was Sam. She used some carefully crafted words of encouragement to little avail, but that did not discourage her. She was supportive of her peers who were doing their best, patiently, to facilitate this activity. She asked clarifying questions when she needed help, and she then explained those directions to others who weren't paying attention or listening in the first place, but never in a way that was demoralizing or embarrassing to anybody in the room. What she displayed was a testament to teamwork and collaboration and the ability to lead even when she was not the official leader. My own children will tell you that Sam has a lot of rules. This always makes me laugh, and she does, and she should, as a counselor at our community after-school program, where my children attend. They will also tell you that she is helpful and kind and smart and knows a lot about a lot. Greta will tell you her best quality is her long hair and soft voice. Very important to a 6-year-old girl. Carver will say she wants to be a teacher or a mom because she has so very many rules. When a friend from my hometown was here vacationing and needed a babysitter for her adult daughter who has a pretty significant intellectual disability, I first thought of Sam, one of the most reliable and trustworthy and compassionate young people I know. She would be great at this, and she was. She allowed a night out for a woman who very rarely ever gets a night out. It kind of hands-on kind of, not afraid to get her hands dirty. Sam jumps right in with games, crafts, moving furniture, checking on a friend, doing whatever needs to be done in that moment. And she continues to build connections with people from her past. I was in a meeting with Miss Morris the other day and she popped in. And I love that. I love that about our small school, and that Sam continues to be resourceful and use the people who maybe aren't even the ones that are her current teachers when she needs them. Her brother Blake will tell you that although a nice girl overall and a pretty decent big sister, she can still annoy the family. Quote, Sam can breathe. You look nervous, Sam. Quote from the younger brother. Sam can be pretty serious, but once she wrote a song composed of only 3 words. Let's just say the song Dirt is Dirt wasn't a big hit with my mom after singing those 3 words over and over several hundred times. Do you want me to sing it now? I won't. Sam's future is anything she wants it to be, really, and she imagines perhaps a science-related career or one that has anything to do with animals or children. Basically the same being, now that I think of it. Recently, she's even been considering veterinary school. An avid reader since the beginning of life, we often talk about books. And we are in agreement that she is a lot like Jo March from Little Women. She will tell you that she learned early on in her life that her life will be what she and only she makes of it. She has chosen to never look back with regrets because she didn't work hard enough when it mattered the most. That idea has been enough to motivate her and preserve her work ethic for whatever challenges are ahead. I will be sad not to have Sam in English class next year, the first in a very long while, but I'm happy for Mrs. Witcher, who gets to pick up where I left off. I'm honored to have been her teacher for this part of her academic journey and can't wait to hear the stories of the years to come. Please join me in welcoming Samantha Tower / Girl of Summer / Camp Counselor / Student Council Interact Youth and Government, and I'm probably forgetting something, member, big sister, daughter, and friend to the National Honor Society.
Thank you, Mrs. Crow. Members of the Osceola chapter must effectively demonstrate 5 qualities which are held in high esteem by the National Honor Society. At this time, the current NHS members would like to review these 5 qualities. To light the knowledge candle, William Lyons.
Knowledge is the state of knowing. Each day, through experience and study, we become more familiar with, more aware of, and gain an understanding of the world around us. The way in which each of us perceives, discovers, and learns through our experiences and studies makes how we know who we are unique. It is the responsibility of each person to learn as much as he or she can. One should look forward to each new experience and take it on with the desire to learn and expand one's knowledge. It is with knowledge that a person can overcome any obstacle that he or she may face in life.
I will now try to light the leadership candle. Leadership should exert a wholesome influence on the school. In taking the initiative in class and school activities, the real leader strives to train and aid others to attain the same objective. The price of leadership is sacrifice, the willingness to yield one's personal interests for the interest of others. A leader has self-confidence and will go forward when others hesitate. No matter what power and resources may exist in a country, they are ineffectual without the guidance of a wise leader. Leadership is always needed. Thus, to lead is an important charge to each of our members and to the candidates. For the scholarship candle, William Lyons.
Scholarship means a commitment to learning. The student is willing to spend hours in reading and study, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended, for education ends only with life. Scholarship is one great element in life, which leads to the highest success. It can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. Learning furnishes the lamp by which we read the past and the light which illuminates the future. Candidates have the charge to continually expand their world through opportunities inherent in scholarship.
For the service candle, myself. Service can be described in various ways. In the routine of the day's work, many opportunities arise to help others. Willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without monetary compensation or without recognition is a quality we seek in our membership. We are committed to the idea of volunteering our time and abilities to the creation of a better tomorrow. To light the character candle, William Lyons.
Character is the force within each individual, which distinguishes that person from others. It gives each one individuality. It is that without which no one can respect oneself, nor hope to attain the respect of others. It is this force of character which guides one through life and, when once developed, grows steadily. Character is achieved and not received. It is the product of constant action, daily striving to make the right choice. The problem of character is the problem of self-control. We must be, in reality, what we wish to appear to others. By demonstrating such qualities as reliability, honesty, and sincerity, we may hope to prove by example that we value character.
Thank you, NHS members. At this time, the Osceola Chapter Advisor, Mrs. Parent, will administer the induction pledge.
I would like the inductees and the members of the National Honor Society, including those of you in the audience, to rise and repeat the induction pledge after me. I pledge myself to uphold the high purposes of the National Honor Society, to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. I will be loyal to my school. And will maintain and encourage high standards of scholarship, service, leadership, and character. When I read your name, will you please come forward to accept your PIN, membership card, and certificate, and then sign your name in the membership register. Daria Etchings.
like to introduce Jarrett Avery performing Give Me Wings, arranged by Mark Patterson. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Courier, who will make a few closing remarks.
That's a really tough act to follow. I'd like to welcome you all here this evening and thank you for coming. And I want to, first off, give out my congratulations to both Sam and Daria. This accomplishment is something that you should be very proud of, but also it is no minor task. One of the things that I have been most impressed with Daria and Sam both is how they are truly leaders amongst their peers. That's a hard thing to do. We heard earlier when Mrs. Krill was talking about Sam and her ability to facilitate a meeting with her peers, and being able to see Daria work with her classmates on a variety of projects. And both of them come through with a confidence, they come through with an idea of how they want to accomplish a goal, but also to include others. Something that you might not see from every person in a high school, but we see from them. I found that one of the great benefits I've had from being here and in such a small school is that opportunity to get to know all of them so quickly, and being Daria and Sam as well. I remember back in last summer when I was first showing up as July and walking around trying to figure out who is who and what's what and whose name goes with what person, and can I remember it all by the next day, because I definitely got a bunch of names wrong. Those were two individuals who made a point to come up and say hello. To come up and say, do you remember who I am? Because remember who you are. But that was the type of person that they both are. That they're welcoming. They want you to be in their community, and they want you to find success as well. With the bottom of my heart, congratulations to you both. Very proud of you, and wish you nothing but the very best. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Courier. members of the National Honor Society, I would like to thank Mr. Baker for his many years as a National Honor Society Faculty Council member, and thank everyone for coming. At the conclusion of this ceremony, you are all invited to take a few minutes to congratulate our newest members. Members, please be available near the front for a few minutes for photographs. We invite everyone to please feel free to have some of the cake provided by Miss McGinley's adulting class. Have a good night.